Hey ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how to make cuttings. Cuttings are taken from lots of different types of plants in our gateway garden, and we can make cuttings and we can stick them in a container, and if the conditions are right, if we do this correct, we can end up getting a brand new plant from the previous plant, an exact clone, an exact replica of this plant. And what we can do with that is take it home ourselves so we can have more plants. We could give it to friends and family. We can sell it at our annual plant sale. There's a lot of different things we can do, and it's super fun, and it's free, really, no charge here, making new plants. All right, so this is how it works. These are the materials you need. First, you need containers to put the cutting in. I use these 2-inch by 2-inch containers, seems to work really well. You need a growing medium. This is not soil. This is a special mix of 50% perlite and 50% peat moss. Peat moss has a high water holding capacity, so it holds moisture really well. And the perlite helps the soil structure, and perlite is a mineral, these white dots in here. Has structure, water holding capacity, and allows air in here because the plant needs oxygen as well. So that's what we're using for our soil growing medium. And then you need what's called rooting hormone. This is a special chemical that when we dip the end of the cutting in, it's going to help encourage root growth, because that's what we want when we take a cutting. We want roots to grow. That's what we're trying to get to happen here. All right, so this is our rooting hormone. We need that. And the other thing is we need something to make a hole. So I use a chopstick, but you can use a pencil or pen or something like that. And then you need plants to take cuttings. This is a geranium, very easy plant to make a cutting from. We're also going to try some jasmine today and some other plants. You can try to make a cutting from almost any plant. All right, so here we go. First step is to fill this up with our growing medium, 50% perlite to 50% peat moss. And when I fill it up, I'm not going to pack it down. I'm going to just tamp like we usually do to get it to settle in. And fill it right up to the top. Okay, notice I didn't pack in, I was just kind of going like that. All right, so there's our growing medium. And then we want to put a hole in here, and we want to make it almost all the way to the bottom, and make it wide enough to stick whatever cutting you're going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing this, so I need the hole to be about that width. Okay, so I got my hole, and I'm ready to stick the cutting. So let's make the cutting. Now, where to make the cutting is very important because you want to encourage root growth. And the roots are going to grow from this specialized cell called meristem. And the meristem cells are right near the nodes. The most meristem is at any node. A node is a place where a leaf comes out. So you can see here's a node, here's a node, here's a node. So when I stick this cutting, I want it to be long enough to stick in my container. So I'm going to probably cut right here. And I cut just below a node. All right, there's a node right there. I'm going to cut, make a nice clean cut. Okay, now I have my cutting, and I'm going to stick in here. We've cut just below the node so that this meristem tissue will eventually grow out into roots if all the conditions are right. All right, then I look at the top and make sure I have some leaves up at the top, and I want to cut off any huge leaves. So I'm stuck with a few leaves here, and then notice this whole thing is devoid of leaves. No leaves here because that's going to be the part that's inside, so we don't want any leaves here. All right, now we got our cutting, it's ready to stick. We're going to put our rooting hormone on, and to do that, nice and easy, you just dip it in the rooting hormone all the way around, and there it is. And then we stick the cutting. Don't stick it all the way to the bottom, but almost all the way to the bottom. Leave about a ½ an inch. Okay, try to get it to stay upright. All right, there's our cutting. Now I'm just going to pack down around the side just so it stands up straight. Okay, you don't have to go crazy with the tamping, but just tuck it in there like you're tucking in a baby to go to bed. All right, and then you can fill up with a little more soil to the top. And there's our cutting, you guys. Now, what do we do with this? Well, as we're gonna see, we're gonna put this in a place that has high humidity. So we're gonna cover it with a plastic wrap, plastic container to keep in the moisture. And we're not gonna water this because remember, it doesn't have any roots. So watering is not gonna really do any good because there's no roots to take up the water. In fact, watering can invite rot and disease. So we don't water this, but we do need to give it moisture. So what we'll do is we'll spray it with a mist. Every day we'll come in and spray the leaves, spray the tops of the soil with a fine mist. And that'll give it enough moisture in order to survive. All right, so that's how you stick a cutting. Okay, and just to show you what we should expect, this is a cutting that we did about 2 months ago. And just like the proper cutting, it's got the same container and everything. If we pull this out, we can see all the nice root growth we have here. So this is a new plant that's well on its way to becoming somebody's favorite geranium. And then these are from this in a couple months, it should look like this. We potted these up. These are cuttings we made about 6 months ago, and you can see we already got some flowers here. Really great, beautiful growth. And if we look at the roots, look at all that lovely root growth, right? And then these are ones we took about a year ago, maybe a little less. And we have big pots here. So we just keep potting up and making big plants. It's pretty cool.